Hello everyone, welcome to Nareen's Life with MS. I am Nareen and let's get started with Friday findings. I hope your week went very well and you did learn a few things. I hope you did manage to break certain records, and of course, you know, as I mentioned on Wednesday's video and Thursday's video, that hopefully each day is somehow a little better than the previous one. So, with that said, I do have two amazing stories to share with you. And both of these stories, one story definitely is a story where I definitely had to use Chat GPT to summarize um, whatever was written, because it is a proper study that was conducted, whereas the other one is also another study that was conducted in regards to a treatment. The first study was more about more knowledge in discovering MS's connection to EBV, the Epstein-Barr virus, and all, and pretty much where that might actually stem in. So while that study that was conducted was pretty small, there is quite a good amount of information that was discovered as a result of the study. So with both of these studies, we do have quite a bit of information to share, and so I am very excited to be able to share all of this information with you. And without further ado, let's get started. So let's get on with the first study. Now, this study is actually something that was published in, and so as a result is very scientific. I mean, if I were to share what all I did, I pretty much downloaded the PDF to read it. Once I read through it, I realized that I did not completely understand it, so I asked AI to give me a summary of it, and then I realized that I could not even understand the summary, so I asked AI to dub it down just for me so that I could maybe put it in easier words for you. And so that thankfully AI did pretty beautifully, I would say, and so I can share it with you. So what does the first study indicate? So the first study is actually about the presence, or pretty much the availability of CD8 positive T cells that are in our cerebrospinal fluid, which is the fluid that exists in our brain and spinal cord that generally has parts of our immune system inside. And generally, with the presence of CD8 positive antigens available, that just means that with the small group of people that had MS, that had clinically isolated syndrome or CIS, and even to a couple of people that did not have MS, actually showed that there was the presence of CD8 antigens inside, indicating that there was definitely an EBV, there was definitely EBV that infected that individual. And as a result, that did end up impacting the individual, and may have been the reason that that individual did get MS. And just another thing about this study that was conducted, this was mostly conducted for people with relapsing forms of MS. So so this is, we're looking at maybe one reason for how MS is, can actually happen, on what are the links of MS to the Epstein-Barr virus. But apart from the fact that the CD8 positive antigens were available, and CD8 positive is definitely one of the T cells that are there, right? I mean, a lot of times, if you definitely are in if you definitely are taking certain medication that are B cell depleters like rituximab, or if you're taking something like ocrevus or credelizumab or anything like that, you would know that usually one thing that we are looking for is a lowering or a reduction of CD19 and CD20, uh, you know, and those are usually gatekeeper enzymes, um, so that it prevents the B cells from causing more damage to our myelin. But CD8, which I guess is in the same family, just ends up being part of the T cells, and these T cells are usually the ones that actually end up fighting whichever virus or bacteria that does get infected, that our bodies do get infected by, and then they pretty much train the B cells to act almost like gatekeeper security guards or so. So as a result, this study actually found the presence of CD8 antibodies available in the cerebrospinal fluid. But here is the add-on. So that, besides the fact that there were definitely antibodies present, there was also DNA from the EBV virus that was still working, um, or still present in the cerebrospinal fluid, which definitely indicated that there was definitely something that ended up happening, and the result of that was that that the EBV virus or the DNA remained, and as a result, something or the other might have happened that did not that ended up you know developing into multiple sclerosis. So this, of course, is a very small study that was done. There were about 17 participants in this study. So this study may I do not know exactly how far or how advanced this study is in pretty much linking the Epstein-Barr virus to MS. I mean, that link has already been pretty much has been present for a very long time, but this is just another add-on to pretty much indicating that yes, Epstein-Barr virus can definitely be a certain aspect to uh, to patients developing multiple sclerosis. And not only that, but just the presence of this one antigen that is in our immune system does indicate that 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 EBV could definitely be a cause for or could definitely be a much higher correlation of the reason that individuals do develop multiple sclerosis. Of course, this study did come up with another conclusion, which was that if there are therapies that actually look into treating Epstein-Barr virus, so that the DNA of the Epstein-Barr virus can be eliminated from patients with MS, that might also be a potential treatment for multiple sclerosis. So, with that being said, you can definitely read this study. I think the study is very interesting. It is, of course, it's a very advanced. And one thing that I do want to indicate is that, if it took me not only just one summarizing from AI, but two summaries from AI to actually understand everything that was happening, just because there was a lot of, scientific and, of course, advanced medical jargon involved in it. You can definitely use AI to your benefit so that it becomes a little easier for you to understand. But of course, this definitely does add another link between the Epstein-Barr virus and MS. So, there might be certain therapies that could be developed that are, you know, only looking at treating the Epstein-Barr virus, so that even before um, there are people that are, getting or getting diagnosed with MS, they can probably prevent the diagnosis, or even pretty much the development of MS in people who generally get the Epstein-Barr virus, which, of course, as we know, is a very common virus that almost everyone gets as when they're young. And as a result, we will all probably become a little healthier as a population, if we do find this if we do find a way to treat the Epstein-Barr virus, so that we can maybe lower the risk of developing multiple sclerosis. So yes, this was the first study. I mean, this is definitely the a more advanced study, so I will definitely share the link. The great part about this study is that you can definitely download the PDF if you do want to read it in your spare time, and you can do whatever you want with it, make all the different conclusions that you can from everything that is actually written in this study. So that is that definitely will be available to you. So definitely do share your thoughts about this, do share your insights, your opinions on this, so that we can get a conversation started on this. So before I end, I just do want to know what your thoughts are, and what do you think would happen if there is a way that we find to treat the Epstein-Barr virus, because it has been there for a very long time. It has existed within all of us. Almost all of us do get it, but it just so happens that there is a small group of people that are not able to build immunity to it, and uh, as a result probably do end up developing multiple sclerosis. So do share your thoughts even on that too. So with that said, I do want to thank you, and of course right now we are moving into the second piece of news that I have for today. So let's get on to um, topic number two, or article number two. And this article is, of course, another study that was conducted. And this study actually covers 499 patients. There were actually two different groups of patients from two studies that were happening in regards to MS, and a certain medication that I will go forward with, that I will definitely mention very soon. And it actually showed some very positive results. Now, the medication that we are talking about is, of course, Cladribine, which for multiple sclerosis is usually given, or is usually, it's usually given in the form of a tablet. Um, and usually it's called, and I think one of the more proper names for this medication is called Mavenclad. So with Mavenclad or Cladribine tablets, the researchers actually found that MS patients who had relapsing forms of multiple sclerosis actually saw a better cognitive, they were able to stabilize their cognitive problems and actually improve their cognitive abilities through cladribine. Now, how does that impact other treatments that are available? First of all, cladribine is also, usually when we're talking about cladribine, it is also a very if it is usually considered one of the highly effective treatments for MS. It is definitely up there, with your Ocrevus. It's there with your Lemtrada. It's there with all of these. The benefit to Mavenclad, of course, is the fact that it comes in a tablet form as opposed to the intravenous injections that almost a lot of patients on the other highly effective treatments tend to have to do, right? Including me, who's on rituximab. But what it also goes to show is that sometimes when there are patients who are MS patients who are actually experiencing problems with their cognitive function, such as brain fog, there are probably a lot more other issues that are existing uh, as a result of whatever MS might be doing in the brain. Especially cladribine has been shown to be very effective in minimizing those issues, and of course making cognitive functions a little bit better for the patients who are on the cladribine oral therapy. So that is definitely one thing that has been, that is very good news for a lot of people who definitely, if they have multiple sclerosis, and definitely especially in the relapsing forms, and do experience a lot of issues, especially with their cognitive abilities, be it something as simple as brain fog, but of course going much further than just the simple brain fog, to actually try and discuss with the doctors whether cladribine might be something worthy of testing. One thing that is definitely clear is now, generally, when there are patients who are diagnosed with MS, usually doctors will try to go on the offensive route rather than the defensive route, which was definitely something that would happen in the past, where you had your ABC that you had to try before you would try the harder medications. Now it seems that doctors and specialists are definitely trying to start off very, very strong with something that is very highly effective, so that once the body is able to settle down, doctors can go to something that can be a little lower on the efficacy scale, but can be, of course, a lot easier for the physical body to handle, so that there is no issue with the body not being able to handle the medications, right, the treatments. So that is definitely some great news, and of course it will definitely allow some people to actually even converse with their medical professionals about which treatment might actually work on them. And this is also going forward with actually using many of the drugs that we have, or many of the drugs that are present for treatments of diseases like MS, to actually have some form of specialization in their treatment, so that their treatment actually ends up improving how they respond to certain things, how they end up working with certain disease modifying therapies, and of course to pretty much find ways to take these drugs that do end up serving many functions, right? Cladribine itself is something that is also used as part of chemotherapy for hairy cell lymphoma, if I'm not wrong. Um, so there definitely are other uses for any of the medications that are currently available, but apart from that, this definitely indicates a push more towards specialized therapies that will be given to future MS patients who are experiencing heightened uh, heightened heightened severity uh, in certain symptoms. I'm forgetting what I want to say. I'm sorry about that. But with that said, of course, this is great news once again. So, wherever you want to take this information or use this information, I hope this second article did actually prove to be a little useful, especially if you do know someone, if you do know an MS patient, or if you are an MS patient who definitely does have certain issues with their cognitive functions, and does not feel that the current treatment that they are undergoing is actually helping them with those with the cognitive issues they are experiencing. So yes, I hope you did like this article. Please do share your thoughts about this. Please do share your opinions on this. Please do share your insights on this, so that we can get a conversation started. And I do hope that this definitely does help you out in understanding what might be possible in the future with all of the treatment options that are available for multiple sclerosis. So, with that said, I hope you did enjoy the two articles I did share with you. These articles definitely are a little more on the medical and the scientific side, but of course these articles were some of the more recent articles that were published. I think both of them were published within this day, within Friday, and they were some of the articles that I do think can have quite a bit of impact on the field of multiple sclerosis, when we're looking not only on the identification, diagnosis, or even the initial treatments of MS, but also into the specific or the specialized treatments of MS with certain symptoms that are being targeted, and certain medications that are proving to be a little more helpful in treating those specialized symptoms, or those inflated symptoms more specifically. So yes, please do share your thoughts on this. Please do share your insights, your opinions on this, so that we can get conversation started. And with that said, I do want to wish everyone over here a happy weekend. I know it is Friday night, so I do hope you have something very nice planned for you, and you do get all of the rest that you rightly deserve this weekend. And with that said, I do want to wish you all a good night, sweet dreams, and I will catch you again tomorrow. Bye.